So, hello, dosto. Welcome to the Bollywood talk show on IWMBuzz. This is your host, Shubhajit. Gives me immense pleasure. I want to call this lady over here with me, my guest for today, a really sweet coconut. Because बाहर से जितनी सख्त दिखती है, difficult दिखती है, stern दिखती है, उतनी ही she's sweet. She's got a sweet side to her personality as well. I have with me the lovely Shefali Shah, ma'am. How are you doing, ma'am? सबसे पहले बताइए.
I'm good, Shubhajit. How are you doing?
I am great as well. I have to ask this to you as the very first question itself, because often we see कि कोई एक season 1 बहुत अच्छा होता है, and then of course you get that motivation to again be a part of season 2 or even create season 2. But often a lot of the sequel doesn't meet the expectations of the first one. But that's not the case with Telecrime season 2. जितना उसको प्यार season 1 में मिला, people are giving it equal amount of love in season 2 as well. What do you have to say on that first of all?
We are overwhelmed, we are humbled, we are over the moon for the kind of love and appreciation and respect the show is getting, that we all have garnered from it. And it's just like, wow. I mean, everyone is aiming to do their best, in all their projects. But it may not necessarily translate on screen. But this is the unanimous love, which is like, wow.
Yeah. I have to ask you this thing, as actors, when you prepare for a role, and especially it's a role, the role of DCP Vartika has stayed with you over the years, because, you did that season 1, which was a humongous success, and now season 2. So it's a part of your system, maybe, if I can call it that way. So, when it is a, role that you have already played in the past, and, the responsibility is about doing justice to what you have already done in the past and not creating a new niche. So how do you ensure that वो अलग, does an actor think differently in that case? कि what I have already done, I need to continue doing that. How does an actor prepare? How do you prepare in that situation?
Well, for me, Vartika and Telecrime was, what happened with both of them was unprecedented. I did not expect. She became iconic. And when of course, when they talked about DC2, I was like, yes, let's start immediately. But then also there was this fear, it was daunting to get back into her shoes, because she became like larger than life. And at the same time, I thought it was my best work. And because I do my work from gut and instinct, I said, there is no formula. How do I go back to this? But the grain of her is so strong. And like you said, she feels in my veins. So I knew that her brain, her seed, her soul had to stay in that. But at the same time, she can't be monotonous. Boring. Every time you see her, you feel, okay, this is a refreshing side of her that I was put back up. Also, there was a very clear thought that was going on in my mind when we did 1 and 2. When we were approaching 2 rather, is that in the first one she became a hero, in the second one she's human. And I have to give credit where it's due. It's written also like that, and it's been directed also like that Vartika falters, and she has flaws and she makes mistakes. But she doesn't shy away from apologizing and correcting, even if it is at the cost of her. So all of that put together.
There's this very popular notion. I think there's this very, and I think it's quite real as well. A lot of people I've seen off late talking about it on social media as well. And I think it's a great discussion. When somebody like, when I would say a male, when he's in the army or he's, say, in the police services, there's not much of pressure. Of course, they have their own set of responsibilities, but primarily we kind of tend to naturally associate their duty as just, their professional stuff. But when it comes to a woman, that individual, we kind of tend to think कि नहीं, उनको तो घर भी संभालना है, उनको professional चीज भी संभालना है. So do you think as an individual, because there are so many, lovely ladies out there who are, I'm talking about the female cops in reality, who handle both with, brilliance. I mean, I can tell you about one personal encounter of mine with one of them. Her daughter was suffering from COVID. She was in isolation. I mean, her daughter was in isolation, but still she did not miss out on her duty. So, there's a mother and there's a police officer at the same time, both doing the responsibilities wonderfully. What do you have to say about these lovely ladies?
Well, I think just women are equipped to do multitasking. And yes, in our society, there are a lot of women who have this pressure of being homemakers, mothers, as well as going out and working. But certain women like me have chosen to do both. I want to go. I want to be involved in everything that happens. Whether it's my work, and I will give it all of me, and whether it's my home, my kids, my family, I will give it all of me. I don't know how else to function. So, hats off, yeah. And women who are not even working.
Yeah.
Because I believe running a home,
it's a full-time job,
is a really tough job.
Yeah.
It's a really, really tough job. It's not easy. And women do it with a lot of panache. And they pull it off.
Yeah.
It's not easy all the time.
Yeah.
But
it's just that, I personally believe that God has given, men, of course, a lot of strength, but they have given women that little bit of extra strength, which they are right now utilizing to the best of effects. एक वीडियो मैम आपका वायरल हो रहा है कुछ दिन से इंटरनेट पे. You were talking about red flags in a relationship. It's not just about red flags in relationships and personal life. I think professional space may be, whether you work in a movie set or whether you work in a professional setup, there are red flags and situations which a lot of people, in their professional lives, they tend to ignore initially, but आगे जाके वो बढ़ता है and it reaches a point of no return. Have you ever faced any kind of red flag in your professional life setup?
See, normally the red flag comes from a person who's opposite you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whether you're treated with disrespect or someone is behaved badly or whatever. I have backed out of that situation. I've made it a mental note that I won't go there again. I will not put myself in a position where I have to work with this person again, even if it's the greatest thing of my life. And I will just back off and say, oh, not again. It's really a simpler thing to do. Everyone has to face challenges. I must say that I've been lucky that I haven't had to face exploitation. But I just feel you've just got to distance and decide you're not going to be a part of our service. When there's a bad situation, either you can continue or you can say, I don't want to do this anymore. And that I think is that whether it's a relationship or it's your work.
I really have to talk about Vidya ma'am over here in this case, because I think you both were fabulous in Jalsa and I know you both are very fond of each other. कुछ दिन पहले उनका भी एक वीडियो आया था. I want you to react to that. She said कि in her house setup, when maybe she and Siddharth sir, both of them are on a call, the house help kind of tends to reach out to her because she assumes that comparatively Siddharth sir ke comparison mein Vidya ma'am, she will be comparatively free. Have you ever faced this kind of setup, maybe in workplace or anything, jahan pe ye discrimination, it's very subtle, but it's still there. Did you ever see that?
I don't know if it's called discrimination. But yeah, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. I mean, exactly this example. Like in my house, if Vipul's on a call, nobody would ever get disturbed. But if I'm on a call, they'll promptly come and start having a conversation to tell them I'm on a work call. Can I finish this?
I remember you telling your son's story about that OTP. I think it was, hilarious.
But it's a fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact. And then I think they just figure over time that okay, mom's also working and she's not available. Whether it's kids, whether it's home, they figure, okay, she's working, so she can't
be disturbed at that
decide what to eat tonight, or what to order tonight, or what are we going to do? What is the menu going to be for a party next?
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
Yeah. I know for a fact that innumerable, young girls, of course, the entire country, they're moved by Delhi crime, and of course, season 2 is creating that kind of impact as well, slowly and steadily. But I've seen so many young girls, a lot of my friends sharing your quotes, sharing your stories, on their Instagram, and it's really visible. How do you still, how do you connect with this young generation? I would say the Gen Z, bol lijiye, ab ye millennial, they connect so well with you and your thoughts and emotions. What is probably that one interesting compliment that you have got from a young girl जिन्होंने शायद आपको आके कहा हो कि ma'am, you inspire me in this way or you inspire me in that way. Has there ever been any moving point like that for you?
A lot. And you know what? I never did it intentionally. I'm just being myself. I'm so glad that people can identify it. I'm overwhelmed when people say I inspire them. I'm really overwhelmed. When I start wondering, what did I do? There are so many women, not so many, but at least a couple, who wrote to me that they chose to be in the forces because of Vartika.
Wow.
I mean, not just women. A guy wrote to me that, I could not make it through my IPS, and I've seen Delhi crime, and I'm redoing my exam. Which is great.
Terrific.
For anybody to have relevance through all age groups, it's very important. If people can connect with you from any age group, it means a lot.
Ma'am, last question before I let you go. First of all, thank you so much for your valuable time. Last question, in fact, मुझे पूछना ही होगा. You have taken, some really interesting, bold decisions. A lot of things have been spoken about, say maybe your character in Work at that point of time, cut to now. I'm sure you have made interesting decisions which have worked out in your favor, and some decisions maybe which you feel right now today that it didn't work out at that favor. It doesn't really matter today, of course. But when those things were not working out, how did you keep yourself motivated to get going and, kind of realize the fact that nahi, jo bhi hai, I will come back stronger and harder than ever before? What was your motivation point at that point of time?
I've always followed my gut and instinct. So I said a lot of no's. I said that, it was a joke, not a joke. It was like I used to get a sermon from all the 3 boys in my life, my husband and my 2 sons. You keep saying no. You could be popular, you could have made a lot of money, you could get a star in your own space, but all you do is say no. And earlier on, it used to bother me that I get a lot of love and appreciation, but why is it not translating into work? Then I realized that this is what works for me. I will only do a project not because I have to go to work every day, but because I just have to be a part of it. And it might mean that a project like that comes once in a year, once in 2 years. So I'll wait. And that waiting works for me. And I figured over time that my gut and my instinct works for me. Yeah. I'm going to stick to it.
Well, if it's working and if it's giving you good results in the best ways possible, then who's stopping? I hope it continues to be exactly the way it is right now. Thank you so much, ma'am, first of all, for joining us in this conversation, as well as for coming in our event as well. You were there in this year's of India Web Fest as well. So it was absolutely a pleasure this time as well. Thank you so much. Looking forward to maybe season 3 or many other interesting projects that you do, and looking forward to meeting you in person and getting an interaction done very soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. God bless. Thank you, Shania. Thank you, Namita.
Thank you.
Chalo, bye. Thank you. Take care, ma'am. Bye.
You too.